On January 20, 2025, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that sent shockwaves through the United States. This order sought to end birthright citizenship, a principle enshrined in the 14th Amendment, which grants citizenship to anyone born on American soil. The order immediately sparked controversy and ignited a fierce debate about the very foundation of American citizenship. Critics argued that such a fundamental change required legislative action, not a unilateral decision from the Oval Office. Supporters of the executive order, often citing concerns about anchor babies and illegal immigration, applauded the move as a necessary step to protect national sovereignty. They argued that the 14th Amendment was never intended to grant citizenship to the children of undocumented immigrants. Opponents condemned the order as a blatant attack on the Constitution and a dangerous departure from American values. They warned of the potential creation of a permanent underclass. The stage was set for a protracted legal battle that would determine the fate of birthright citizenship in the United States. The ink was barely dry on the executive order when a flurry of lawsuits challenging its legality were filed across the country. Civil rights groups, legal scholars, and several states vowed to fight the order in court, arguing that it violated the clear and unambiguous language of the 14th Amendment. One of the most prominent lawsuits was filed in Massachusetts, where a coalition of advocacy groups and an undocumented pregnant woman argued that the order would have devastating consequences for families and children. The American Civil Liberties Union, also known as the ACLU, also filed a lawsuit, calling the executive order unconstitutional and a rejection of American values. Legal experts expressed skepticism about the executive order's chances of surviving judicial scrutiny. The legal battle promised to be a long and arduous process, with the potential to reach the highest court in the land. Faced with mounting legal challenges and public outcry, the White House vigorously defended the executive order, arguing that it was necessary to address what they characterized as a crisis of illegal immigration. Administration officials claimed that the order was within the president's authority and that it would help to deter illegal immigration and protect national security. They argued that the amendment's framers never intended to grant citizenship to the children of undocumented immigrants and that the executive order was simply a corrective measure to restore the original intent of the Constitution. Furthermore, the White House pointed to the financial burden that undocumented immigrants allegedly place on social services, healthcare, and education systems. Critics countered that these claims were often exaggerated and based on misinformation, pointing to studies that showed the economic contributions of immigrants. The White House also framed the executive order as a matter of national security, arguing that it would help to prevent terrorism and criminal activity. Opponents dismissed these claims as fear-mongering, arguing that there was no evidence to support the notion that birthright citizenship posed a significant security threat. Section 4. A wave of change, accompanying immigration policies. The executive order on birthright citizenship was not an isolated incident. It was part of a broader push by the Trump administration to restrict immigration and crack down on undocumented immigrants already living in the United States. One of the most significant changes was the reinstatement of the Remain in Mexico policy, officially known as the Migrant Protection Protocols, or MPP. This policy forced asylum seekers arriving at the southern border to wait in Mexico while their cases were processed in the United States, often in dangerous and squalid conditions. The administration also took steps to drastically reduce the number of refugees admitted to the United States, slashing the annual cap to historic lows. These changes were met with widespread criticism from immigration advocates, who argued that they effectively closed the door on vulnerable populations seeking safety and protection in the United States. Section 5. An uncertain future, implications and potential consequences. The executive order on birthright citizenship, along with the administration's other immigration policies, had far-reaching implications for American society and the rule of law. The order threw the future of countless families into uncertainty, potentially creating a class of stateless children who were born in the United States but denied citizenship. The legal challenges to the order raised fundamental questions about the balance of power between the executive and judicial branches of government. If the Supreme Court were to uphold the executive order, it would set a dangerous precedent, granting the president sweeping authority to overturn constitutional rights. Critics argued that the order was discriminatory in nature, disproportionately impacting Latino and immigrant communities. They warned that the order could lead to increased racial profiling and discrimination against individuals perceived to be foreign-born. The United States had long been a beacon of hope for immigrants and a champion of human rights. However, the Trump administration's restrictive immigration policies, coupled with the attack on birthright citizenship, tarnished that image and undermined the country's moral authority.